Welcome to episode 318 of the Grip Strip Podcast, the Old Guard, New Guard edition of the Grip Strip Podcast. We are back after some time away here. My name is Philip Matthew. I'm your host. Been busy with work and other things, life stuff. Been tired, hell, guess it's old age. But as after time away, family vacation, my usual co-host, the iRacing Indy 500 champion, computer genius, a gentleman and a scholar, my good buddy Josh Huffine is back. How's it going, man?
Yeah, very much back and ready to get into it. Yeah, family vacation, time away, all that stuff. Really great. Reloaded and I guess refreshed for the rest of the year, however many months. But anyways, yeah, all the stuff that happened, the last couple of weeks here, NASCAR, of course, and of course Michigan here, Gateway, Monaco here for all three series that we normally talk about. So yeah, ready to get into it.
Yeah, we're gonna get into NASCAR, which was at Michigan with Cup and the trucks. Dennis Hamlin going and getting his third win of the year and tying his longtime teammate and sometimes rival in late Kyle Busch with 63 wins. And just like Jeff Gordon did when he tied Dale Earnhardt at Phoenix in 2009, he went and carried a flag around the track in honor of his fallen compatriot there, Corey Heim, who's going to be driving for Denny Hamlin full-time next year, and of course Michael Jordan as well in the 35 car. Wins another truck race. We'll talk about that. Joseph Newgarden goes out and wins at Gateway for a sixth time. Gets his second win of the year. Of course, another oval win, being the new age Rick Mears. We'll get into all the stuff that went down there at Gateway. A lot of rain affected that race. Even with the prime time spot that Fox was able to get, it didn't work out. Someone who's been prime time for the last 5 races is Andrea Kimi Antonelli in Formula One. Came into the year without winning a race. And now, after initial momentum was in the side of his teammate George Russell, has gone off and won 5 consecutive races. Of course, might have been his most dominant performance so far with the Monaco Grand Prix win. Lewis Hamilton gets another second place finish, coming off of Canada, where he also got a second place finish at one of his best racetracks. Didn't have anything for the Mercedes, but was able to be best of the rest. And Isaac Hadjar rounding out the podium there. We'll get into F2 and F3 from last week, and they'll be back again this week. Indy NXT, which was very interesting with a last to first performance there. MotoGP, Moto2 in Hungary. NHRA was in New England last week for the New England Nationals, and then now they'll be at Bristol this week. World Superbikes, the Nicolo Balega series will be at Misano, home race for him. And then, of course, one of the great big ones, one of the Triple Crown races, the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Very interesting, the way things are looking in the hypercar LMDH class for this race this coming weekend. the Grand Prix de Barcelona-Catalunya, or whatever the hell they're calling it, because there are two races in Spain this year. So we'll give picks for that. We'll make our picks for Cup and O'Reilly at Pocono. I'll be at the track on Saturday with Amy for take her for her first race. Get to see Cup qualifying and practice, and then some of the O'Reilly race. I don't know. We'll see how long we stay for that. There, Josh will let us know all things going on iRacing, gaming, and sim segment. We'll call it a day. So yeah, let's get into it here. Carnage-filled Michigan race, the Firekeepers Casino 400 at Michigan. Decent amount of leaders. 23 lead changes amongst 11 drivers. Wide open, I think. Very draft track centric kind of package there. William Clyde Elliott II led the most laps in this race and won a stage. Tyler Reddick won stage 1 and led the third most laps, but ended up getting destroyed by Carson Hocevar because, of course, I'm waiting for one of these people to just clean him out and just do us all a favor and just, right rear him into the wall, but then they'll penalize that driver. But I would also be like, I would left rear him, and if he goes and nails the wall and they have to replace a couple of rear clips, then they might tell the guy to, knock it off, with some of his, dopey moves that he makes. But I guess that's just a wish. In the end, Denny Hamlin didn't get that many stage points, but it didn't really matter. Reddick ends up losing a ton of ground, even with the stage win, because he only scored a couple of points. So what was once 140 or 50 point lead has been cut down to about 50 something with Hamlin's third win of the year. The results here: Hamlin, that Jones boy, trying to give Michigan get a Michigan winner at Michigan for the first time ever, falls just a little bit short on that. Darrell Wallace Jr., Kyle Larson, Carson Hocevar giving 2 Michigan drivers in the top 5. Daniel Suarez, Pizza Face, Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, Chris Buescher, and then Chase Briscoe rounding out your top 10. Cindric from 31st to 11th. Herbst actually got a couple of stage points, finished 13th. William Byron was 18th. He got stage points in one stage. Ty Gibbs was second in stage 1, finished 25th. Chris Bell, we're going to mention him later. Him and Clyde were involved in a massive wreck. Clyde, I mentioned, had led the most laps in the race. Zane Smith got stage points in both stages, but wrecked later in the race on lap 143, just prior to the Elliott Bell incident. And there was another multi-car incident after that. And then Reddick finished 35th. Connor Zilic crashed twice in 8 laps and finished dead last in another race, which is unfortunate. The long rookie season continues for, one of the guys that, someone who's considered the next big thing in a lot of ways, going the like of Jeff Gordon, where he crashed a lot in his rookie year, having to learn. But in the long term, he ends up becoming one of the greatest of all time. Not saying that he's going to become one of the greatest of all time, but he has the potential to. And either way, it's something we'll see. But yeah, I mean, for Denny Hamlin, tying his former teammate in wins and Cup with 63 is an amazing feat. I also would say that cutting into that points lead and being only 51 points out of the lead after the really massive start to the year that Reddick had with 5 wins is big for, bonus point opportunities as we get closer to the chase and trying to get that elusive first championship. But I mean, once it comes down to it, Denny Hamlin goes out there and gets that big victory and is, in terms of active drivers, the winningest driver in the Cup Series now. Tied. Well, yeah, he is the winningest driver in the Cup Series by far. Joey Logano's the next highest with 37. So Denny Hamlin, Hall of Fame driver, adds to that Hall of Fame legacy with yet another win at Pocono. I'm getting ahead of myself. He won his first race, 2 races at Pocono, at Michigan this past weekend, Josh.
Yeah, I mean, for Denny Hamlin, of course, dominating win here. Even if he didn't lead the most laps here, or that was Chase Elliott, but started on pole originally, and of course, had to go to the back at the beginning of the race. And that, even so, he just was able to cut through the field and then lead at the end. And I think you could see how strong of a car he had by the amount of the margin, one of the largest margins of victory we've seen on an oval for a next-gen car in the next-gen era. So, yeah, very strong win here. I think, yeah, for Denny, another win here, certainly 2 in a row now, one earlier at Las Vegas. So definitely on track here to catch Tyler Reddick in the standings here. So, of course, Reddick has been finishing well. I mean, it seems like Reddick hasn't been in the spotlight lately, but for him, I mean, just consistent finishes has been the main theme since his last win back in Darlington. But he's been able to put together good results since then. But this right here with the crash, taking him out there and putting him in 35th, that opened the door for Hamlin to win the race and cut into that point lead with a 51 point gap to Reddick now. So I'm pretty sure, yeah, I mean, it's going to be one of those two for the championship in the chase. Every race still matters, of course, but I think right now with the way Toyotas have been so far this season, I think it's very likely that we'll see one of those 2 Toyotas, or maybe even a third Toyota driver like Ty Gibbs, certainly in the running for the championship here later in the season once we get to the chase. So yeah, for Denny, of course, I mean, yeah, it's gonna be either him or his own driver going for it, but yeah, dominating win, showing that he's still got it, and continuing to inch closer towards the potential first title. Of course, tying Kyle Busch, of course, and all the tributes and everything that we've seen since then. Of course, really nice tribute to bring out the flag after his burnout or before his burnout, and the custom 11 or custom 18 there with the Joe Gibbs style 1 and the Kyle Busch RCR 8. Their combination of his 2 numbers that he ran in Cup, besides the 5. So definitely, those were the 2 numbers that he made famous there. So for Kyle Busch, so very good tribute there. And then of course, I don't know if you noticed on his burnout, but he did do the way that he did the burnout. If you look from above, it actually looks like an 8 because the circle of the burnout and then the round part of the A and ally definitely looks like a 8 from above and how he did it. So seems like he did that to make it look like that, and as another tribute to Kyle. But as we continue to continue to recover and you remember Kyle Busch and everything he did for his career, the tributes I think continue to be touching in course. And now Denny Hamlin ties his former teammate, his late former teammate there at 63 wins. So obviously a lot of people are talking about the parallels with Jeff Gordon passing and tying and passing Dale Earnhardt Sr. In Phoenix in 2007, and talking about how this felt like a similar parallel with Denny Hamlin passing Kyle Busch there, or tying Kyle Busch and likely passing him once he gets his next win. So for Denny, I mean, showing that he's still got championship contention for sure, potential for sure here. So I think that does show the value of the point standings here, by the way, because you're seeing this kind of play out over the regular season so far, and really those are the only two guys that are out there, of course, right now. And then in the back behind them, Ryan Blaney's 157 points back, Elliott's 187, Ty Gibbs is 199, and Kyle Larson's 216 back. So it's really going to be tough for anybody behind fourth place, third place to really have any chance here as we get closer to the regular season ending and the chase beginning. So kind of shows the value of finishing well for Reddick, continuing to finish well, but also the value of wins with Denny cutting into the point lead there. So overall, wild race at Michigan, like you said, with lots of accidents, of course, throughout, big ones and heavy accidents, of course, with Christopher Bell, Chase Elliott getting loose in the middle of turn 3 and 4 and getting into Chris Bell going hard into the right side of the wall. And I guess apparently he has a wrist injury right now, so status is up currently in the air. Apparently there was rumors today that apparently he'd be out for a month, but I haven't seen anything confirmed yet that he's actually going to be out for a month. But certainly regardless, it's a significant injury. If he does continue to race, you've got Sonoma, you got the San Diego Coronado circuit on the Navy base there, and you got Pocono, which of course shifting track with the way ovals are in general, but this Pocono certainly driven like a road course. So definitely, if he continues to race, it's a tough set of tracks coming up for him in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely tough considering having to make up as many points as he's back and trying to maintain a playoff or chase position. If he were to miss that time, I mean, he would get knocked out for sure. Of course, they have somebody they probably could put in that car to keep him in the Owners' Championship, but his teammate doesn't like him, so they won't put him in there. But in terms of Bell, I mean, that wreck looked horrendous. It reminded me of some of the worst wrecks that we've had in over the years, and to absolutely basically destroy the wall is insane amount of, like you talked about it offline. We were looking at the article or whatever in terms of hardest impact of the next gen era. When is Mike Ford 40 or Ford, the vice president of racing communications, confirmed that the delta V, which measures a change in velocity, was the largest number recorded since the next gen made its debut in 2022. And another, Matt Harper, managing director of safety systems, it's also the hardest recorded hit in at least a decade. So thinking about that, so it's 2016. I mean, I think about, we're going to Pocono this week, Kurt Busch, his wreck that he had that ended up ending his career. Granted, there was a lot of concussions probably and other things going on, and the way that that car was built was way too stiff. To go and have that level of a hit is insane. Just glad that Bell was able to get out of the car. Granted, he has some injuries, but is been cleared to race. So I mean, that's unbelievable. That kind of wreck would have been really god awful in the past. So yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with him at Pocono this weekend, and then 2 road courses in a row after that. So we'll see how that all goes. Reddick and Hamlin, of course, top 2 in points, as Josh mentioned. Only 2 drivers with single-digit average finish. 2 of 3 drivers that have single-digit starting position as well. So Larson being the only other one in the single digits at the moment there. They lead, of course, in top 5s, top 10s, and then poles. So, I mean, they are the 2 best drivers so far this year by far. Blaney had a good start to the year. He got the 1 win. Has 10 top 10s, but it's been a struggle recently. So we'll see how that goes. Clyde has 2 wins, propping him up there. Keebler rounding out the top 5. Larson, Hocevar, Buescher, Suarez, Bell, your top 10. Then it becomes a sweat after that. Darrell Wallace Jr., William Byron, Chase Briscoe, Shane Van Gisbergen, and Brad Keselowski, Cindric, your 16. From Wallace all the way to Joey Logano is only 49 points, I believe there. Yeah, 49 points separating 11th through to 17th. A little bit more gap for Eric Jones, but he's been running really well recently. Prix has fallen off big. Now he's falling into the clutches possibly with McDowell, AJ Allmendinger, Zane Smith, who was running well recently. He gets that unfortunate deal there. So there's a pod there from 20th through to 17 and 9 is 26, plus another 31 points and 36 points to Riley Herp. So there's a decent from 20th on through 28th is actually reasonably close, but need to make up some ground to get back into that mix. But there's a close battle here. I mean, top 3 kind of, or top 2 have their own battle. Blaney's in his own world. Elliott and Gibbs, and I guess Larson. Then you have Hocevar, Buescher, Suarez, and Bell together. So we'll see how that all goes. Alrighty, so Truck Series. Another win, as I mentioned, for Corey Heim at Michigan. The DQS Solutions and Staffing 250. Garrett Mitchell, aka Cletus McFarland, gave the command. Wasn't. And yeah, he doesn't. He declared for O'Reilly points. I guess. Okay, so makes his first truck start since Daytona. Spins early. Spun in not early. He spun somewhat in second half of the race. ends up finishing 25th. Results here, Corey Heim, Caden Honeycutt, Hocevar led the most laps, Lane Riggs 4th, Chandler Smith 5th, Christopher Bell started on the outside pole, won both stages, led the second most laps, finished 6th. And Richard from 19th to 7th, Connor Mozak driving for Spire, 8th, Jake Garcia, Tyler Ankrum, your top 10. Brandon Finger was 11th, Gio Ruggiero 12th, and Ross Chastain was 17th, got a couple stage points. Daniel Dye led led 3 laps, driving the McAnally Hilgeman 20. Christian Eckes had stage points to make up for what ended up being a brutal run for him, getting involved, I believe, in an incident, or no, he just had problems there. And then Ty Majeski started on pole, got wrecked on lap 89 there, so lost out, only got 1 stage point, so huge loss of points for him there. But yeah, I mean, for Honeycutt, he was frustrated after the race, thought he had an opportunity to win this one. He did gain 11 points on Lane Riggs, who was his title rival. But I mean, Corey Heim, we know where he's going to be working starting next February, but proves every time he jumps in one of those trucks that he is pretty much automatic. And, we talk about, Kyle Busch, the late Kyle Busch. It's got Kyle Busch vibes whenever Corey Heim jumps in a truck.
Yeah, I think, anytime Corey Heim starts a race in the Truck Series, I think that's just an automatic pick there for him to win. So, yeah, I don't think there's any other way to not pick against him, or to pick him in a race to win. So, certainly, yeah, for Corey Heim, another victory here in the Truck Series. And, yeah, at this point, really, it's just him versus the field. And yeah, for Caden Honeycutt, there's a bit of frustration there after the race between the two corporate teammates there. But yeah, Heim's just here to win right now. He's kind of just in a waiting period for his ride to come available. So he's obviously just waiting for that time when he'll be in the Cup Series, and we'll see how his full-time career in Cup starts. But right now, he's just here to win races. And yeah, obviously Honeycutt's going for the points championship, so that's important. There gained some on Lane Riggs, gaining 11 points, like you said, but certainly would like to win more than that to close the gap on Lane Riggs. But certainly it's a start. So for Lane Riggs, of course, continuing to have a good run here in this truck. Of course. Carson Hocevar led most laps here, so certainly good start for him. Cletus McFarland was in this race, also winning the pole in ARCA, finishing in the back, but certainly another race for experience for him. For other people, I mean, Chris Bell led a ton of laps as well. So that's actually one thing to wonder now too, is does Chris Bell, with the injury that he has, does he get reduced time in the Truck Series now that he has the wrist injury? So yeah, did go back and look, and yeah, he got cleared to race. I think whatever rumor I saw was indeed a rumor, but for Chris Bell going forward, does he continue to run in the 62 truck for truck races, or they take him out and put someone else in to lessen the chance of a further injury here now that he's already been injured. So that's one thing to look at there too. But yeah, for Corey Heim, yeah, he just continues to win, and I think just means that once he gets to the Cup Series, it's going to be interesting how he makes that transition to full-time Cup and what his results look like up there.
Yeah, and I mean, is it going to be comparable to what Zilich is going through this year, or because of who he's driving for, is it going to be an easier transition? The fact that he's running as many races that is this year, how that'll be. Curious to see how that is, knowing that, of course, Denny Hamlin keeps on putting it out there that next year is supposedly going to be his last year. He's already basically marked Brent Cruz as someone who could end up replacing him. So next generation of Cup coming here, one at a time. First with Connor Zilich, now Corey Heim full time next year, then likely Brent Cruz the following year. So these box office rookie drivers, it had been a lean period, I think, in terms of rookies over the years, but now these next, starting this year for like 3 years running, you're going to have some big time talents that this sport is probably going to put, or they're going to build their foundation around here with the SOD's reign, along with what do you call why am I forgetting his name? Ben Kennedy. Yeah, that's who they're going to be building up for sure. Truck Series right now, points. Really 3 drivers that are kind of in it here. Honeycutt's 26 points behind Lane Riggs for that regular season title. Honeycutt has a 9.2 average finish. Only one of the regulars that actually has a single digit average finish. Tied for best average start with Gio Ruggiero, his teammate. Lane Riggs' average start's only 13.6 and an average finish of 11, but has 3 wins and 6 top 5s versus Honeycutt's 1 win with 8 top 5s. Chandler Smith, 1 win, 6 top 5s, 8 top 10s. Yeah, Ruggiero, Eckes. Chandler Smith's kind of in his own world. Ruggiero, Eckes battling for 4th. Then a big drop off. Ben Rhodes, Majeski loses a ton of points. So now he's back down. He's down to 7th. Ankrum running that group that trying to make it in. Ankrum is only 5 points out of Jake Garcia right now, who's in 10th. Hemrick is tied with Garcia. Corey Heim's only run 5 races, and he's only 4 points out of the top 10, which is ridiculous. Stuart Friesen is 9 points out of the cutoff. And then, what is it? You have 22 points between Garcia and Enfinger. And 36 points between Garcia and Brendan Queen for the best of the Dodge contingent there. But it's going to be interesting. They'll be racing their next couple of races on road courses. They'll be at San Diego for the street course race. Then they'll be racing at Lime Rock after that. So opportunity points wise to make some gains, because I'm sure Corey Heim will be at the San Diego race, but I don't know about him being at Lime Rock, so that'll be an opportunity Majeski lost 1 spot in points there. Eckes lost 2 places. Friesen lost 3 with his issues. Haley lost 2. Enfinger won. Well, helps that Corey Heim gained 5. But yeah, so really, I guess once you get to, I think Tanner Gray's about the last one who's in play. But that's a lot of points there. 70, what is it? 20 is 50, 57 points. Tanner Gray out with 6 races to go in the regular season. Alrighty, so let us move forward into IndyCar. The NTT IndyCar Series was at Gateway, one of the big races of their season. Running oval, running in prime time on Sunday night. Wasn't straightforward early in the day. Newgard had to come from 8th to go and get what was his 6th victory. Pitted one more time than 3 of the drivers behind him. But, goes out there and gets that victory. Went and ran the fastest lap of the race on lap 219. They were able to run the entire race, but even with the rain issues, precipitation issues, and trying to see, so, and moves himself up to 6th in points with the victory. Marcus Ericsson finishes 2nd, leads the most laps in the race with 114. Christian Rasmussen finishes 3rd after starting 19th. Rinus VK wrecked in practice. He had to rebuild his car. Pays his team back with a 4th place finish. Scott McLaughlin 5th. Kirkwood, Malukas, Power from 21st to 8th. Marcus Armstrong, Christian Lundgaard rounding out your top 10. Pato O'Ward just outside top 10 there in 11th. Scott Dixon, who led 32 laps and was leading during just before a couple of rain delays, finished 12th. Felix Rosenquist, 14th, the Indy 500 champion. Alex Palou started on pole, led 49 laps, but ended up 2 laps down after having fuel issues there. Also had contact with Gilbert Gottfried, Nolan Siegel early in the race while trying to lap him. Green Rehal hit the wall hard. Second caution. Then there's rain. Then there's a mechanical for Kyle Collette. Those were 3 of the cars. Hauger never started the race. He had mechanical issues. Unfortunate for him. So, yeah, I mean, for Newgarden to go out there and after everything that went on, led the second most laps in the race, had to pit one more time than the next 3 cars behind him, battling injuries, took the lead swapped the lead with Rasmussen from after getting past Ericsson on lap 204, and held him off. But yeah, I mean, for Newgarden, it's been a rough year other than the 2 wins on the ovals, but goes out there, adds to his legacy in terms of wins. We're talking about history and stuff like that with Denny Hamlin, talking about how Corey Heim seems to win every single truck race or whatever. Joseph Newgarden's another one who is adding to his overall legacy to now be at, 34 career wins in 241 starts with 91 top fives, 144 top tens. Of course, the 2 Indianapolis 500 wins, 19 poles, and then the 2 championships. I mean, he's not running for the championship this year per se, but 34 wins in IndyCar puts him up there with a lot of the great drivers of yesteryear in terms of total wins, and pretty solid to pretty cool to see for Joseph Newgarden to go out there and be able to get another victory on an oval.
Yeah, another oval win for Joseph Newgarden. It's been an interesting up and down season, kind of. Of course, 2 wins here, Phoenix and at Gateway. Of course, Indianapolis 500 was in the running, spun out off a restart on turn 4. Pretty heavy hit there. Looked like maybe he was injured in that one, but obviously it's not bothering him enough because he's come out here and won at Gateway here. So yeah, for Newgarden, clearly the oval master. I think at one point definitely really good on road courses and street courses, but I think with the emergence of other drivers in this series like Kyle Kirkwood and Alex Palou, even Pato O'Ward at that, I think kind of that reign of him being kind of the guy in all around in IndyCar may not be quite the case anymore, but certainly I think Newgard makes a case why there should be more ovals here in IndyCar. But for Newgarden, of course, 2 wins on the ovals here so far. I mean, I think it's hard to go against him the next time they go to an oval, like at Nashville, which he won at last year, right? So going back to Nashville, this is his 3rd oval win since then. And hard to go against him when they go to a place like Milwaukee and they return to Nashville later this year. So yeah, certainly he's the guy on ovals that you got to beat no matter what. But they just haven't been as good on the road courses and all that so far. So yeah, for Newgarden, I mean, I don't think he'll be in the running for the championship. I think he's a little too far back right now, 104 behind Alex Palou here. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Rasmussen, I think he put on a pretty good show here. Definitely that could have been another opportunity for him to win. Remember, Newgarden was battling against Rasmussen back in March for IndyCar, so at Phoenix. So there's definitely that aspect of it there, and I think Rasmussen has proven himself on short ovals, and I think on Indianapolis as well to be a contender there. Scott McLaughlin, of course, top 5 for him. Kind of also been a up and down season for him as well for the Thirsty Threes. Rinus VeeKay, top 5. Solid effort there. Obviously, last year, Connor Daly was in that car. Ran really well, so yeah, not surprising. And Rinus VeeKay has also been a really good oval racer as well. David Malukas continuing to pick up solid momentum after 2nd place run in the Indianapolis 500 there. And yeah, like you said, Alex Palou, of course, very surprising. Started on pole, thought it was going to be another Palou domination type of race, but rain came. They were on the fuel strategy, and then all of a sudden ran out of gas under caution there. So surprising to see from Alex Palou. I guess it does prove that there is some misfortune that could happen to Alex Palou here on the racetrack after they've been proving for so many years now that they're just really good at what they are able to do. So rare error on their part, not saving enough fuel, I guess. I mean, Dixon was kind of in the same scenario, but only finished 12th. So for Palou, huge misfortune there, potentially a race win there on the line, and certainly that opened the door for everybody else to try and win. So Kyle Kirkwood now down 49 points to Alex Palou here in the standings, so could make for an interesting title race, especially with no reset, traditional stack them up points as we go, unlike in NASCAR. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out there. As I guess, Kyle Kirkwood, I mean, finished 6th was solid, but certainly love to have probably finished higher than that to put more pressure on Palou there. So I mean, it was definitely an entertaining race, I think. I mean, you definitely had reason for crashes and stuff. With Graham Rahal. Of course, Graham Rahal has been running well. Of course, podium at Detroit, ran solidly at Phoenix back in March, but here spins out and hits the wall here. So it's been a good season for Graham Rahal. So this is just another bump in the road for him there. So it's been interesting here so far in the IndyCar, and I'm looking forward here as they head to Road America in a couple weeks. We'll see how it plays out for the championship between Alex Palou and Kyle Kirkwood and whoever else decides to join the party.
Yeah, it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be a little more dramatic for Palou than he probably wanted it to be, based on that result. As you said, like having that luck or bad luck, if he has one more race like that, is probably gonna make it really interesting. But I mean, and then also in terms of Newgard, his last 11 victories have been on ovals. His 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, last 11 victories. His last road course win was in 2022. At Road America. That same year, he won at Long Beach. I think 2022 was in terms of 2022 standings, he ended up finishing 5th in points that year. He won the most races, but Will Power, his teammate, ended up being the most consistent with 9 podiums, only 1 win. But he had an average 5.9 average finish. So it's crazy to think that Newgard, that was the last time he won a road course race. And then since then, he's won, he won 4 races in 23, 2 in 24, 1 in 25, and then 2 so far in 2026. Points, Palou, 49 out of Kirkwood, 68 out of Malukas, 96 out of Lundgaard. Decent gap or cluster between Lundgaard all the way to Rosenquist. And then so that's 4th through 8th. Then you have Ericsson all the way down to Rinus VK from 9th through 13th is only separated by 21 points there. So plenty of movement opportunity there for the top 10 in points. Behind Alex Palou and the top 3 in points. All right, so let us move over to Formula One. Monaco Grand Prix was people, I guess people would have thought could have been a opportunity race for some of these teams that may be a little lower on power. But in the end, Andrea Kimi Antonelli goes out there and I guess the Grand Slam. In the process, there was a red flag there because the track was coming up, but he was running away. There was only, when the race was actually going on, there was only, I think, 4 cars on the lead lap. So he had lapped all the way up to the podium. That's how crazy it was. But then multiple safety cars allowed the field to unlap themselves, but it didn't really matter. Everybody else, nobody had an answer. Kimi Antonelli, 5th consecutive win over Lewis Hamilton. Then Isaac Hadjar ends up getting the podium. He had a lot of problems with his Ford Red Bull powertrain, but was able to hold off Oscar Piastri. The Toro Rossos of Lawson Lindblad, 5th and 6th. Pierre Gasly crossed the line 3rd, got penalized, which was was quite dubious. A lot of penalties. Lewis had penalty, Hadjar, Woody had penalties, etc., etc. Albon, Ocon, Fernando Alonso gets Aston Martin a point. George Russell ends up being 12th because he got penalized for not serving his 10-second. He got 20-second penalty because he didn't serve his 10-second penalty he had on pit road properly. Sergio Perez got a penalty, or else Cadillac would have gotten their first points as a team. So unbelievable. Charles Leclerc crashed in that final corner along with Stroll. Norris had mechanical issues. Bierman, I'm forgetting what Bierman's issue was. Bottas had mechanical issues along with Fish Lips, who didn't even finish the first lap. Then Carlos Sainz ends up he got put in the wall on one of the restarts. So coming out of the hairpin, casino hairpin there. So yeah, I mean, what can you say? Kimi Antonelli, Josh, is he's got a 66-point lead right now on Lewis Hamilton, the guy he replaced, and 68-point lead on his teammate. And granted, only 6 rounds in, it's a 22-race season. But, you know, and there's definitely a long, there's a big group of races here coming up, 5 in 7 weeks. I think counting this, starting with Monaco, which I think could really shape how going into the summer break, how things really look. You're going to have a new Grand Prix in Madrid as part of the post break European season, but Kimi Antonelli, Mercedes going out there and doing work, and Bono keeping his young hotshot in the right state of mind. They keep on doing this. I mean, he's going to be one of the youngest, if not the youngest, world champion ever. So it'll be crazy to see.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy to see how well can he keep this up. I mean, right now I think the lead is insurmountable, but we've seen things happen before. Of course, last year thought that Oscar Piastri would be winning the championship at the end of the year, but that ended up going to Lando Norris there. Could this happen again with him and George Russell? They're the only two that have won so far this season. Maybe, but it just seems like Mercedes has an advantage over the rest of the field right now, even after some organizations have already brought out updates for their cars. So, it just continues to be the show of AKA here in F1 here this season. So, I'm interested to see how this plays out. Yeah, we're at a tough stretch of races here with the Spanish Grand Prix, Austrian Grand Prix, British Grand Prix, Belgian Grand Prix, and the Hungarian Grand Prix coming up. So definitely a tough set of tracks here for him, but at the same time, he's won all but the first one, so there's no reason why I could picture him not winning going forward. So it's tough, but I think he's gonna be able to pull it off here. So I mean, it's otherwise been a fairly processional season in that regard, but certainly this Grand Prix was very interesting in terms of speeding here. So with penalties all around, Pierre Gasly, of course, huge penalty for him. He was going to finish third, and there's also the fact that his team didn't inform him of the penalty post race, and I think he found out from F1 themselves. So that was kind of an odd deal there, but certainly for him, he's not a guy that finishes up in the top three that often. So that was definitely a kind of a blow for him to finish in seventh there for Lewis Hamilton, of course. I mean, he's in second right now, but it's I don't know when would he ever win a race so far in Ferrari. Ferrari's not, I mean, they're the second closest team behind Mercedes, but they haven't found a way to win with either of Charles Leclerc or Lewis Hamilton so far yet. So it's going to be interesting. Of course, the only one that was really making headlines for Lewis Hamilton was his high mileage girlfriend there stealing the towel from Kimi Antonelli there. So allegedly. So that's definitely interesting there. But I don't know if Lewis has it in him to, not because he's incapable, but just because of how Ferrari is at this point to have anything for Mercedes themselves there. But I mean, it's definitely another Monaco Grand Prix, another one where we debate whether Monaco is even viable as an F1 race anymore, but they continue to do it because it's the tradition that must happen every year. And certainly moving it off of the I guess in our point of view, the Memorial Day weekend from the Indy 500 Coke 600 weekend certainly felt interesting as a choice, and now having it in June certainly is a choice by F1. So certainly feels weird having it now versus the previous weekend, but it is what it is now. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, it's the Andrea Kimi Antonelli show, and he's, how old is he? He's only like 19 here, so it would definitely be one of the youngest champions ever in Formula One. And he does turn 20 later this year, just before or just after the summer break. So there's still more to come here for him.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable to think a 19-year-old or 20-year-old could win Formula One World Championship, but it's the world we are in at the moment. We went over those points for the top three. Leclerc was it 13 behind Russell, 15 behind Hamilton. Then Piastri is 15 behind Leclerc and 30 behind Hamilton. Lando Norris further 2 points behind that. Fishlips in 7th, Hadjar in 8th, Lawson, Gasly tied for 9th in points. there. In terms of the constructors, Mercedes up by 35 and 44 and 30, 74, 79 on Ferrari. Then Ferrari is 47 ahead of McLaren. McLaren is 8 and 46 ahead of Red Bull. Then the midfield battle, Alpine is only 2 points out of Toro Rosso. Haas is in 7th, but has taken a real step backwards. Williams in 8th. Audi 9th, only a point ahead of Aston, and then Cadillac, of course, the only one that doesn't have a point now, but plenty of rounds to go, so we'll see how things go from there. All right, let's get into the GSP Roundup here. We'll get into Formula 2. I'll get into the results from last round. Noel Leon won the sprint race, second consecutive weekend where he's won the sprint. And then Nicholas Soloff gets his second feature race and third total win of the season. In terms of the sprint race, Leon, Belinsky, Mini, Dirksen, Boganovic, your top 5. Stenshorn, Kushmini, Kamara, Dunn, Soloff, your top 10. Seb Montoya was 13th. Colton Hurd was 15th. Enzo Fittipaldi, or not Enzo, isn't it? Emerson. I have to confirm that. It's Emerson, yeah, okay, yeah, because Enzo's in Indy next. They're good. I can't call myself there. The feature race was Nicholas Soloff getting the victory over Alex Dunn, Daniel Boganovic, Kushmini, Stenshorn, Miata, Fittipaldi, Montoya, Leon, Belinsky, your top 10. Herta was 19th in this race. So the standings, Gabriele Mini only a point ahead of Soloff. First non-point score of the season for Gabriele Mini was in that feature race. Soloff's been way more inconsistent, but has the 2 feature wins and the 1 sprint race win to basically prop himself up. Stenshorn, Dunn tied for 3rd. No Leon in 5th. Boganovic in 6th. Ruben Kamara in 7th. They're only 3rd through 7th, separated by 9 points. Lawrence Van Hoopen, Miata, Kushmini rounding out your top 10. Montoya 12th. Colton Herta, first non-point score, double non-point score of the year for him, 13th. Then in Formula 3, Ricardo Escoto as replacement for Brad Benavides. Ricardo Escoto is an Indy next, yeah. And prior season is AIX, yeah. Delighted to bring in Ricardo Escoto from Barcelona. So Brad Benavides must have run out of budget. G sprint race winner, and then Brando Badour was the winner of the feature. It's only their second round of the season because they've been off since Melbourne in March. due to all the cancellations. The sprint race, G. Del Pino, Claro, Giusti, Stromstead, Uguchuku was 6, Nakamura, Diaz, Lay, and then Garfias. Plenty of great names to mispronounce in Formula 3. Then in the feature, Bador, Niles, Slater, Uguchuku, Rivera, your top 5. Del Pino, Giusti, Claro, G, and Stromstead. Then the standings, moving to Barcelona, Uguchuku maintains an 8-point lead over Del Pino. Freddie Slater's 9 points back. Bador with the win gets himself up to 4th. Teofel Nile with the 2nd place in the feature up to 5th. Kato, Claro, Giusti, Giadiz, and G gets himself into the top 10. Brad Benavides had scored points in the feature race at Melbourne, then had the sprint race, didn't score in the sprint race, and was completely out of the feature there. Unfortunate for him. Ricardo Escoto will be taking over, as we said. From there, go and move over to Indy NXT, which was a huge weekend for Miles Rowe. Had issues in qualifying, started tailback, but makes history to climb from 24th to 1st to get his first win of 2026, move himself up into the point standings, give himself an opportunity at this championship, leads the most laps in the process. Miles Rover, Alessandro De Tullio, Josh Pearson, Niles Coolin, Max Taylor, Lockie Hughes, so Andretti getting 3 of the top 5 or top 6. Nikita Johnson, Max Garcia, Timmy Kachow, and then Jordan Missig rounding out your top 10. The standings moving to Road America. Nikita Johnson 2 points ahead of Enzo Fittipaldi, 5 points ahead of Kucharek. Max Taylor's 27 points back in 4th. So that's really the battle at the moment. Rowe with the win gets himself up to 5th. He's Rowe, De Tullio, Hughes are all separated by 6 points. Juan Manuel Correa there in 8th. There, so see how that goes. Then trying to go through that. No, don't want that. And do that. Go over there. Then maybe, yeah. So we'll go to MotoGP, Moto2. Marc Marquez coming off of injury suffered a few weeks ago. It was at Le Mans. Then was affected, had to miss some races and stuff. So his defense of the world title not looking great, but who knows, stranger things have happened. Marquez gets the victory in Hungary over Pedro Acosta's future teammate. Paco Bagnaia was 3rd. Ayagura, Luca Marini, your top 5. Diego Moreira, Lackawanna filling in at Grassini finishes 7th. Jack Miller, Nea Bessanini, Brad Binder, Toprak Raskatlioglu actually getting some points. In terms of people who had issues and finished the first lap, Marco Bezzecchi and Jorge Martin, along with Raul Fernandez and Felipe Aldeguer. So huge issues for the points leader, top 2 in points coming into this weekend's races in Moto 2. Yeah, Roberts finished 15th. So yeah, the standings moving to the next round. Bezzecchi 20 points out of Jorge Martin, 42 ahead of DG Antonio. Pedro Acosta is 48 back. Mark Marquez 72 back in 5th. Ayagura 75 back in 6th. Bagnaia in 7th after 3 consecutive third place finishes. Raul Fernandez in 8th, Alex Marquez in 9th, and Felipe Aldeguer in 10th. In Moto 2, Gonzalez on 3 consecutive victories now is nearly 50 points out of Guevara. Celestino Vietti 3 points behind Guevara. Senegas 11 points out of second there. So that's the real battle for the points there. Holgado and Alonso, the teammates, 5 points between them. Alonso Lopez, Ortola, and Salek, separated by 7.5 points. Munoz is 10th. Joe Roberts 15th in points. The moment. I like how you said well used, or I forget what the term was for, because then it reminded me of Chuck going and saying Cardi B, and then those are Cardi D's last night. Yeah, high mileage. You said that, high mileage for Kardashian, and then it reminded me of halftime yesterday with Cardi B. Those ain't no Cardi B's, those are some Cardi D's. And amongst other things she had going on in that outfit, Jesus Christ. That was the best of that. I mean, that made up for what was a poorly officiated game and poorly played game by the Knicks in the first finals game at Madison Square Garden since 1999. That a certain orange mongoloid was at. But yeah, so we go through those. NHRA raced at Epping, New Hampshire last weekend, coming off of, so 3 weeks in a row, actually, they've been racing. It looks, yeah, because they raced in Maryland, then New Hampshire, and then Bristol this weekend. So now the results here at the New England Nationals: Doug Coletta, and I don't know, that's Too Fast, Too Tasty. Doug Coletta won Too Fast, Too Tasty Top Fuel. Greg Anderson Pro Stock. Jordan Van Griffin Funny Car. They got rained out, I guess, for Top Fuel and Funny Car on Sunday, but Dallas Glenn was able to get the Wally in Pro Stock. Sean Langdon and Leah Pruitt will be racing each other in the final in Top Fuel. In Funny Car, it'll be Jordan Vandergriff and Jack Beckman, so battle of the John Force Racing teammates there. And Pro Stock, Dallas Glenn beats Matt Hartford for the victory there. The standing: Sean Langdon 100 points out of teammate Doug Coletta. Leah Pruitt is third. Josh Hart in fourth. A decent battle there. So 36 points separating Hart and Billy Torrance. So from fourth to seventh, Tony Stewart, Matty Gordon there in between. Antron Brown, Justin Hashley, Clay Milliken ahead of his teammate Tony Schumacher there. So that's Top Fuel, 8 races in. Ron Capps, 15 points out of J.R. Todd. Much more compelling battle. 5 drivers within 72 points in Funny Car. J.R. Todd, Jordan Vandergrift, Matt Hagan, Chad Green. Then you have Jack Beckman at a minus 106 and DeJoria at minus 130. So 7 within what amounts to 6.5 rounds. Hyde, Proc, who got the win, and Maryland for his first win of the year, gets himself in the top 10 in points that way. Dan Wilkerson only 10 points ahead of Dave Richards. Cruz Pentragon on the outside there. Paul Lee, another one, struggling this year. Hunter Green running limited events. I think, Jeff Herend is running the Jim Dunn car. I didn't know that. I thought it was somebody else that was driving that one. Then in Pro Stock, it's really Dallas Glenn and Greg Anderson. Greg Stanfield in third in points. 30? Yeah, 30. It's 50 points. Hartford is behind of Stanfield. Then Enders in fifth there. So, yeah. And then Pro Stock Motorcycle, Matt Smith had to miss the last race, allowed Angie Smith, his wife, to go out there get the victory. So now it's a little bit closer. 4 riders within 100, the 2 Vance and Hines Suzuki's versus the 2 Denso MSRs of the Smith family, moving into this weekend's race at Bristol. World Superbikes are at Misano. That's Nicola Balega benefit there because it has been all year and it has been for a while. Results so far, the standings, they changed your website. Wow, look at that. Over 100 point lead, 108 point lead, Niccolo Balega over his teammate Iker Lackawanna. Sam Lowe's up by 10 over his brother Alex. Montella is 11 points back. Baldassari is 25 points back out of third. Axel Bassani in seventh. Garrett Gerloff in 10th. Riding for Kawasaki, tied with Miguel Oliveira, and 7 points behind former world champion Alvaro Bautista. So then it's actually a decent battle. BMW Yamaha is only 12 points back. Kawasaki is 23 points out of third there. World Superbikes. 24 Hours of Le Mans. We'll go to the World Endurance Championship. They haven't started qualifying, I don't believe, for 9 hours, 7 minutes. So I guess, the Valkyrie topped the test day. So it's interesting to see what that'll mean in terms of their opportunities as it looks like Carolina is going to tie the series up at 2 games apiece. So up 5-3. Yeah, so the qualifying will be the first qualifying will be on Wednesday the 10th in the evening, late afternoon, early evening. Then there will be qualifying for Hyperpole on Thursday and Friday off, and then Saturday starts the race itself. Trying to see how many cars there are. It's hard to. What is it? You have 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15. Like 18 cars in the hypercar category. The Wayne Taylor Racing Cadillac will be in there, along with the usual teams. 2 Aston Martins this race, with the U.S. contingent running the 009, Ribera, Sorensen, Roman DeAngelis, joining Harry Tinknell, Tom Gamble, Ross Gunn. So those are the 2 additions. In LMP2, we have. Be nice if I could actually. Yeah, I could go and see that. They should have the numbers on here, but 4, 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 18, 19 LMP2s. Amongst the Pro-Am categories, there's 5, 6, 9 of those teams running in the Pro-Am category. Within that race, so 10 outside of that, and then 9 in the Pro-Am. Then in LMGT3, there's what is it? 3, 4, I think. 23, 25 cars, 62 total cars in this race. The TF Sport Corvette, number 2, the 13 Autosport Corvette with Fidani, Kern, and Matt Bell coming over from the U.S. Kessel Racing Ferrari, second. An additional Ferrari there, the Racing Spirit of Le Mans, all French team there. Team Qatar by Iron Lynx, second. Mercedes has Giuliano Alesi amongst their driver lineup. Kessel Racing, second. Kessel Racing Ferrari there. And then the Richard Mille AF Corsa Ferrari, Lilo Wadu, Riccardo Agostini. There, you need to have a bronze rated driver at a minimum, and every single team also has a silver. So we'll see how it goes in the race and talk about it next week. Yeah, so let us make our picks for Grand Prix de Barcelona-Catalunya coming up here on Sunday. I'm trying to see who. Last time we did picks, it was
You went first last time.
I went first, so yeah. So you get you get to go first, Josh, and I'm venturing to say who you're going to pick to win. Is it 6 in a row for AKA?
Yeah, go with AKA gets his 6th win of the season here. Behind him, I'm gonna go with Woody Russell and go with Lewis Hamilton 3rd.
All right, so Josh goes AKA Woody SLH. Me, I will go with, just to be different, Woody, AKA, and while I do want to see Lewis get on the podium, I'm going to say Fish Lips has a recovery drive this weekend and gets a podium there. So then, where are we at? So then it's O'Reilly series at Pocono. Will be there for that. The Miller Tech Battery 250 presented by KOA. Entry list 38 for 38. Nobody going home. Cole Custer driving the 0 for SS Greenlight again. Connor Zilich in the number 1 for JRM, trying to defend his win from last year, which was crew chief by one Dale Earnhardt Jr. Go through some of these others. Carson Kvapil will be in the 9. Jeb Burton, congrats to him and his new wife there. Garrett Smithley, of course, taking the weekend off. Got engaged, so congrats to them. Blaine, or what is it, Raja, will be in the 32 for Jordan Anderson. Carson Ware driving the 35 for Joey Gase in partnership with Harmon. Patrick Emmerling will be in the 38 for RSS. Nick Leitz for Youngs in the 42. Natalie Decker, who had a meltdown at Dover a few weeks ago, now is back driving a Joey Gase car at Pocono. Nick Sanchez will be in the Peterson Racing Group. Chevy, I guess, as a measure based on some of the struggles that Austin Green has had as a rookie, to see where their cars are at the Peterson Racing team. Will Byron will be in the 88. Dexter Bean in the 91. Leland Honeyman in the 92. So there's that. So for me, I am going to pick, so O'Reilly series at Pocono. Phil is going to go with Connor Zilich to repeat. And the wild card, need to bring up the points to see what the options are. I mean, I think at this point, Brent Cruz should count as one of the full-time, but it's 28. Even if it was 27, it's 13. That's borderline. That is borderline. I mean, Joey Gase has run the same amount of races as Brent Cruz, but 27 drivers. So then top 14 would make it through. On the front end of that, my pick as a wild card, I am going to go with I'm going to go with Jeremy Clements. Why not? Been running well. They have those HFT cars. It's just not been not been lucky at times this year to get the kind of runs they deserve. All right, Josh. What do you say for race here at Pocono on Saturday?
Yeah, for me, I'm gonna go with Corey Day, Hendrick 17, and I will go with let's see, standings. Go with top 20, I guess. Go with Jeb Burton.
Yeah, I was thinking Jeb Burton, being just getting married there, so maybe having the high of that working in his favor. If he was to run well, hopefully that would mean that Raja could run well also. We'll see how it goes. Cup Series at Pocono, next to last race on Prime for this year. Of course, this was a race last year that Chase Briscoe won his first race for Gibbs. The Great American Getaway 400. 38 for 40. Casey Mears driving the 62 for Beard Motorsports. And then Daniel Dye getting an opportunity with his daddy's money in the Live Fast 78. Yeah, so that Josh, you get first dibs here. Is it Denny Hamlin for another win at Pocono? Does Tyler Reddick go and get win number 6? Or are we looking at somebody else here on Sunday?
I don't know. I think it's hard to go against Toyotas right now. They got the pace, they've got the speed. Just a matter of which Toyota is it. And I think right now, Denny Hamlin's the guy right now. So I'm going to go with him to go for 3 in a row here. And yeah, continue getting closer to the points lead there. And then I guess for my wild card here at Pocono, go with Zane Smith.
Zane Smith, wild card. All right, so 3 in a row for Hamlin. Yeah, I mean Zane Smith. Trying to go there in terms of he's outside of because there's only been 34 drivers that have driven every race. I mean, what is it? Does it show that they're taking Kyle Busch off altogether?
Yeah, they took him off altogether.
Yeah, so then so 34 that have run every race this year, so that leaves 17. So all right. For me, I am going to go with Reddick, and I'm going to double down with Toyotas, and I'm going to say that Jones boy as my wild card. So, Tyler Reddick, and that Jones boy wild card. All right, so with that, it's time for the sim segment. First one in a while, Josh. Let us know what's going on, all things iRacing gaming.
Yeah, of course. For me, iRacing, big news today. Season 3 release just dropped. There's a lot of big updates here for iRacing Season 3. Brand new cars. Got the BMW M2 G87 car. Got the Euro NASCAR V8 GP. So they're bringing the NASCAR Euro series over to iRacing now. The BMW M Hybrid V8 Evo, of course, been in IMSA WeatherTech competition since 2023. 2026, the car received an Evo update and being placed into the hands of BMW's new factory team partner, Team WRT. So it has actually been on iRacing, but I guess the new update for it with the Evo, the Formula V Cutlass, is on iRacing now. So there's two different classes of the Formula V series now. So 2 body styles to choose from for people instead of one. So you have the Cutlass body style, and then the Formula V Conqueror body style. So I guess I don't really know what the big changes, but yeah, at least I guess new content for the lowest level of open wheel racing on iRacing. There, 2 brand new tracks, Qualcomm Circuit, aka Coronado Naval Base, North Island on NASCAR San Diego course. Partnership with iRacing, of course, with NASCAR to bring this track into life, and I've already seen a lot of videos of it so far. The visuals of the base, the carriers, the planes, all that, definitely good visuals there. So gonna have to download that and play around with that to see that, and definitely gonna have to probably go into replay mode and see what they actually have graphically there that they're allowed to even display. So pretty interesting layout there, and all that. The WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, of course, that's already on iRacing, but the new update, Repave, the last couple of years, rescanned. iRacing has completely rescanned and rebuilt Laguna Seca from the ground up. So yeah, brand new circuit here, and you can buy it on iRacing, I think, or I think it should be a re-download if you already have it. So got that. Some track updates. Chicagoland Speedway, Oran Park, major artwork updates. 3D curbs coming to Circuit Day Nevers Magny Cours, and Motorsport Arena, Oshler Lesman there, getting updates. Charlotte Motor Speedway gets a new dirt road configuration for their dirt road course there, and then some user interface updates. Track map on here, 4 variations of the track map to show the different classes you're competing against. So example here, Daytona Road Course. I don't know what the colors correspond to, but there's 3 different classes here on Daytona Road Course, of course, with the GTP, LMP2, and GT3 cars. So they're represented by yellow, blue, and red here. So definitely helpful in that aspect. A fuel calculator here, I think that's going to be huge. A widget to help drivers determine when they should pit. Various calculation modes and a visual indicator of their pit window, showing the last lap fuel usage, laps to empty, fuel to end. I guess pits to end, I'm going to guess that means how many pit stops to the end there. Last 10 laps of your fuel usage, and then your session usage average. So still showing the amount of fuel left and remaining fuel laps on there, and your pit window saying, okay, you're open in 16 laps. Your pit window is here from lap 33 through 40. So that's going to be a huge indicator here for lots of people Lots of these widgets are, a lot of them are third party, and now iRacing is finally closing the gap to provide their own in-house content here for, or not content, but I guess visuals here for people to use, and I guess kind of negates the reason to have some of these third-party apps. A lot of them are paid. I have this one called iOverlay, which has been great, but to get some of the more premium features like the fuel calculator, that's, you have to pay extra for that. So this is going to be a great way to kind of bridge the gap between people who have been paying to use some of these custom softwares versus having in-house stuff here. So got that incident tracker here. So obviously the incident points on iRacing, if you're familiar with the game, every incident point counts up until you have a disqualification, usually after 17 incident points, and then you get disqualified after 25. They're a penalty and then disqualification. So I guess now they have a UI display for that now, so you can see that versus it being in the counter on the session info page there. So that's exciting. Dirt AI, so you can race AI on dirt tracks now. Already seen a couple clips. I think somebody tried Dirt AI with Formula One and NASCAR Cup, so that's pretty exciting there. So definitely an interesting deal there, and yeah, for AI dirt racing should be interesting. See how does that play out versus regular asphalt racing that iRacing has implemented for AI. Then some other updates. NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour vehicle refresh, wet weather content available right out of the box for the BMW M2, the Euro NASCAR, and then the two Formula V cars there. So pretty exciting news here. Season 3 of iRacing starting up here I guess today, so gotta update iRacing and download all the new stuff, and then probably go and buy the new Naval Coronado Navy base track for San Diego. So should be exciting to play that and see how that rolls. So of course, as always, you can follow at Twitch TV/usailor2. Still have the Indianapolis 500 sessions that I ran last month up there, so there's still up for view and everything. So go back and watch that. I've watched it a couple of times. Definitely some exciting racing there by me and by other people on there. So go there and follow me there. Of course, follow my Twitter page at JP Huffline on there. Follow my Instagram photography page, Josh Huffman Photography, TikTok, JP Huffline 8 on there. So it's been glad to be back. Of course, been a good bit of a break here. Thanks to friend Joe for filling in after the greatest day in motorsports. Good friend of ours, of course, and thanks for him to be able to fill in for me for that one. Then back to regular stuff here, back to real life. So glad to be back for sure.
Absolutely glad that we're able to get back going at this and keep it moving during the summer here as we move forward into the dog days of summer, but plenty of racing to look at. Josh mentioned the Gripster Podcast YouTube page. There's also the GSP 1428 YouTube. It'll appear, the show will appear there, the audio at least. You can find me at PGMGSP28 on Instagram, Blue Sky, PhilipGMatthew.com on WordPress. That's our blog site. Also, where audio can appear for the show, for the GSP, PGMatthew28 on Twitter, Podbean.com, our host site. So, yes, we will be back for episode 319 of the Gripster Podcast next week. Maybe a 19 car wins, whether it's Chase Briscoe or Brent Cruz or somebody. Somebody's going to win anyways. Somebody's going to have Miles the Monster. That's Dover. They're gonna have that Hawk trophy there. Not the or what is it? What's the bald eagle trophy? Sorry, it's a bald eagle, and then that tricky triangle that they put on the trophy there at Pocono. So a couple of people have that. We'll talk about that, and then what happened at Barcelona, along with previewing IndyCar and everything else going on in the world of motorsports. We'll talk about here on the GSP, baby. Be talking about the NBA Finals being over, but we'll see about that. For Josh, I'm Phil. Thanks for listening. Thanks for liking, subscribing, and we'll see you next time.